So this goes back almost a month now to May 19th, but my wife and mom are still so furious with me that my wife may divorce me and my mom may take her side over it. I need some honest feedback to help me go forward. I'm a huge World Wrestling Entertainment fan and I pretty much get all the pay-per-views. Money in the Bank, there was a ton I wanted to see, but it also culminates several storylines into a ladder match that I really wanted to see. It was May 19th, and I made it very clear I wanted to watch the event. On May 9th my wife announced that she'd been invited to a coworker's wedding and I had to go with her. By a crazy coincidence that we didn't know until we got there, the groom's mom is my mom's good friend. I assumed the wedding would be on Saturday, so I agreed. Well, Saturday the 18th came and went, and it wasn't until the 19th, when my wife was pissed I wasn't getting ready, that I was like, oh crap, I can't go, because of the pay-per-view. She got so mad at me, so I relented and went. It was one of those events where I didn't know a single person besides my wife, and my mom and the groom was sort of an idiot. So after he sort of blew me off when I tried to congratulate him, I was like screw this, and I got out my phone, parked myself in the corner, and bought the pay-per-view. My wife and now mom kept trying to get me away and be social, and finally, I got pissed and told them both to leave me alone. Things honest to God haven't been the same since. She says I look like such an idiot with my phone in my face in a semi-dark room while everyone else was having fun and dancing. My mom says her friends all noticed me and commented that I must have been autistic, so she's massively embarrassed. To me, I had plans, I did my part to attend, and when I didn't know anyone, I made the best of a bad situation to do what I wanted anyway. Was I the idiot here? You're the idiot. You told your wife to leave me alone, and you actually think she wants to divorce you over the wedding incident. This is about how you treat people. Not about what you did at a wedding. If all of this had actually been about the wedding, the only reason they would have been minor idiots here is because you didn't do this during the ceremony. It is still rude as hell, but given that you didn't know anyone and if you were wearing earbuds, you didn't really disturb anyone. You are the idiot, sorry dude, but that's some serious lack of social awareness. You openly disrespected everyone at the wedding, not just the groom, but the bride, and both sets of family and friends. Not only that, but you then disrespected your wife and your mother in front of everyone. Even though it probably shouldn't, your behavior also reflected poorly on your family. Your mother would have worried people thought she brought you up to think acting like that is somehow okay, and your wife would have worried people pitied her for choosing a husband who doesn't respect her and behaves rudely. You're the idiot. Even though you didn't know anyone at the wedding, as an adult person it is expected of you to have the common decency to even act like a guest. It is definitely not okay to go somewhere to watch World Wrestling Entertainment. Such behavior could be understandable from a child who usually goes with I'm not interested, I do something interesting, but not from an adult. Not only is highly offensive to the bride and groom, but also very embarrassing to your wife and mom. They'll hear about this from their friends. So yeah, you should feel even ashamed of yourself. Living a healthy lifestyle is important to me, and it's important to pass it on to my kids as well. I have a second grader who I have brought up, so far, to be very involved in the kitchen, what we eat, diet and exercise. She came home with a note from her teacher the other day asking to please send her more appropriate snacks and lunches. I thought for a minute that maybe I accidentally grabbed one of my Quest bars or something for her and asked my daughter. For her morning snack, all the other kids had something like cookies, fruit by the foot and gummy snacks, etc. My daughter's absolute favorite snack ever is pickles, and she has said herself that she's never that hungry at snack time because we have a nice high-protein breakfast. I put in a cut-up pickle for her, along with a Babybel cheese, in case she was hungry. The teacher commented on it. Lunchtime came around, and I guess a similar thing happened. My kid goes nuts for anything spicy, so for lunches this week I made a cold spicy sesame noodle dish with lots of peanuts, shaved carrots, etc. Her friend wanted to sample it, so she gave some to her friend, and I guess it was crazy spicy for the friend, and she cried to the teacher. This is what sparked the note. So I explained that she shouldn't share spicy foods with her friends and figured I'd skip the pickles next time. Well, it wasn't good enough. Just yesterday, the teacher sent home a letter to everyone explaining that she's requesting we make sure to send age-appropriate foods to school and gave examples of things like peanut butter and jelly sandwich, snack pack pudding, fruit cups, etc. I called the teacher and asked her about the note. The teacher became very judgmental and said to please just remember my daughter is a little kid and that she doesn't need to worry about eating adult food yet. I asked if there was some kind of school policy about this and she became very icy and said no and this really shouldn't be a big deal. This might be where I screwed up. I told the teacher that I'm the parent and there's nothing wrong with my child's diet. That when she, the teacher, has kids, she can feed what she'd like, but that unless there's some kind of school policy, I will continue to send my kid to school with the foods I pick. The teacher got huffy and hung up. Just to double check, I asked my daughter two things. Does she like her lunches? Enthusiastic yes about most of them, and are the other kids making fun of you? Because I know that can be an issue. She said no, and that sometimes they even ask for a pickle too. So, am I the idiot, or is this teacher way out of line? Not the idiot, it's up to you what you feed your daughter, and you're instilling good eating habits in her at a young age. If other parents want to feed their kids pudding cups and sweets, that's okay too, but the teacher shouldn't be getting involved unless she has concerns over your daughter's well-being. She likes the food you give her. Also, in the UK, some schools have a policy against children taking nuts to school in case some children have allergies. Just something to be mindful of since your daughter is generous enough to share her lunches. Not the idiot. This teacher is extremely out of line. Your kid has a wider palate than her peers, but that's irrelevant to anyone else, especially if your kid actually eats the lunch you packed for them. You're doing your job as a parent by feeding your children nourishing food that they like and making sure they don't go hungry throughout the day. Kids' food is a completely manufactured idea, born of marketing schemes and parents who don't know their way around a kitchen. Outside of infancy, why should any food be age-specific? Not the idiot. That teacher is ridiculous. She needs to pull her nose right out of your parenting decisions. As long as your kid is getting fed appropriate nutrients and amounts, it is no one's damn business what you feed her. I'm dear friends with a family where the father is a professional chef. Those boys eat everything and always have. It's so nice to hang around kids who eat anything that's put in front of them. I think you're ensuring that your child will eat normally as they grow up and not end up one of those weird adults who only eats pizza and chicken fingers. I met my best friend in high school. She had this boyfriend who was bad for her and she never saw it. They were on and off for a few years. After we graduated, she moved in with him. She ended up getting pregnant and then moving to a different state. That didn't work out, so they moved back here. I was still there for her and was still her best friend through all of this. One day, we were hanging out, having a good time. We went to the mall, I bought us both some lunch, and then we went back home. I told her I would be right back as I needed to use the bathroom. While I was in the bathroom, she stole my card out of my purse without me knowing. I came back, and she said she had to go. So I have her a hug, we said I love you, and she left. Later that night, I went to the store to buy some groceries. I went to pay, and my card was nowhere to be found. I thought I must have left it at home. I checked my account as soon as I got home, and $300 was missing. There were charges from Victoria's Secret, Target, and some other places I can't remember. I was in shock and so upset. I texted her, freaking out, and she said I'm so sorry, I'm crying for you. Maybe you left it at the mall. Which I knew I didn't because I bought lunch after we went there and I know I didn't leave it. I told her that and she said she was going to the mall to look for it. The next day, she told me that she went to the mall and customer service had my card and gave it to her. Which is obviously crazy, they wouldn't just give someone a card. I knew she was lying at this point and asked if she was the one who took it. She didn't reply for hours and then left me a voicemail telling me she was the one who did it and she was so sorry. I was devastated and I couldn't believe it. I cried for hours and after talking to my dad, I decided to call the cops on her. I don't believe stealing from your best friend is something that should be allowed. Especially $300. I don't believe in lying to cover up someone else's illegal actions. It's not right. She was 5 months pregnant at the time. She told me I was an awful person for pressing charges BC she was pregnant and trying to get ready for a baby. And that we could have worked it out. I don't feel like I was in the wrong there. We are no longer friends and don't talk. Would I the idiot? Not the idiot, she intentionally went into your wallet, took the card, then from the sounds of it went to more than 2 places and spent your money. She had a lot of opportunities to turn back and she didn't. Plus the whole lie about how she went to Lost and Found or whatever, and they gave the card to her. I once dropped a card in a store. The staff held onto it for me, and they checked my driver's license before they handed it over. They apologized for this, but I told them I understood why and thanked them for both holding my card and checking my identity. Not the idiot. Stealing is wrong and against the law, even kindergartners know this. Stealing from a friend. There's just no excuse. If she didn't want the trouble that comes with stealing from a friend and breaking the law, then she should have had the good graces to not do so. I don't know what she expected would happen, though. Even if you didn't twig onto the fact that she stole it, you would have probably contacted the police anyway. I'm guessing at least one of the places she shopped at would have had cameras at the register that would have caught her. Same legal trouble. Not the idiot. You don't get a get out of jail free card just because you allowed someone else to pregnant you. Your friend should grow out of this mindset. Additionally, she was your friend. No true friend would steal $300 from another. With friends like her, I'm scared to see what your enemies are like. Finally, as a law-abiding citizen, you just did the right thing. I don't think you deserve to be called an awful person, especially when the one who called you that is a liar who stole from her best friend. Not the idiot, no matter how you look at it. I know how the title sounds, hear me out. My 26, girlfriend 24 takes forever in the bathroom. Upwards of 1 hour, sometimes closer to 2. When I playfully ribbed her about this, she'd get irritated but nothing major. 3 months ago I was playfully teasing her and she flipped out. She said she won't do anything anymore and true to her word she hasn't shaved, waxed, or put on makeup since then and wears her hair looking like bedhead. I told her that I got her point and would appreciate it if she resumed doing things that I also do to stay presentable. Her head hair improved a bit, although not even close to how it was before, but she still has hair on her legs and underarms, semi-unibrow, etc. Now she's saying I have to pay her to resume taking care of herself, which I find crazy as I'm not a sugar daddy. Why should I pay for her to upkeep herself like she's my sugar baby? I understand that it's her body, her choice, etc. But if there are any guys out there who think they would be okay if their girlfriends had long underarm hair, then you're a better man than me. I haven't pushed her to do anything, nor am I enforcing any ultimatums. If, as she says, I've been conditioned to want her to look a certain way. Well, that crap, but it's not my fault. If we broke up, she'd pay for all of this beauty stuff herself, so why should I pay? Anyone who says I'm an idiot here, are you going to then start paying for all your girlfriend's beauty regimens, or else be fine with 100% body hair and no makeup or hair care ever? Be honest with yourselves. Girlfriend sighed. He keeps being an idiot about how long I would take in the bathroom, so as he said, I quit things he didn't even realize I was doing. No makeup, no shaving or waxing, no brows, no waxing those mustache hairs. I have curly frizzy hair, so I stopped using product or straightening and curling with an iron. No mani and pedi, no touching up or redoing my highlights. Do I look like a beast? Sure. Am I a comfy, smug beast? Hell yes. He rightfully pointed out that he takes care of himself for me by shaving his beard and cutting his hair, so I obligingly waxed my upper lip and got a haircut. I'm continuing to do this whole thing because 1. It's so much less effort for me, 2. It's way cheaper, and 3. Now that I stopped, I feel like, why do I ever have to do all this? It's unfair. And if I have to do it because both of us have been conditioned to see me doing these things as the basic standards for a woman, then he should pay half the costs. I conservatively spend at least $1,000 a year on brows, shaving supplies, hair products, highlights, haircuts, and makeup. Conservatively. He should have to pay me at least half if he wants me to do it, and extra for painful things like bikini waxes if he wants me to do them again. Otherwise, it's not fair. We love each other a lot and aren't actually fighting. We recognize that we're having a difference in opinion, and since neither has been able to sway the other, we came to the court of public opinion. You're the idiot boyfriend, obviously. Oh, but she's not my sugar baby. So you want to be able to dictate how she looks, but you also think she should incur the cost as well as the time and discomfort of living up to that. Honestly, 50% of the cost is a bargain. Oh, but she'd do it if she were single. Would she though? Tell you what. Why don't you two add up all your grooming expenses? Your hair and shaving products, her hair and shaving products and leg waxes and straighteners and makeup and hair products, mani and pedis. Call them joint expenses, split them half. You're the idiot. A very petty dispute in which both sides were idiots led to the girlfriend realizing how much time and money she spent on grooming and decided to not do it anymore. You point out that you spend time and money on grooming and she agrees to spend the same amount. You realize you want her to spend even more of her time and money on grooming and she agrees to do it if you subsidize it. Sounds fair. I do find myself extremely unsympathetic to all the stuff from both of you about social conditioning and the ideas about grooming for each other rather than for yourselves as individuals. You're the idiot. Honestly, I have internalized the beauty myth too much to skip shaving in the summer, but to anyone who hasn't, I say good for you. I've also stopped bleaching the hair above my lip permanently because, again, it takes time, it costs money, and why? To satisfy other people's ideas of how I should look. This is how I was born and I am okay. All that stuff OP's girlfriend mentioned, do you both realize that it was all very intentionally devised so as to keep women distracted and spending money? You're right, it's not fair. So, this is a little strange of a situation, but hear me out. I've been married to my wife for almost 7 years now, and we have 2 children, one 6 and the other 4. I love her, but she is a bit strange sometimes. She is a very heavy anti-corporation and government, you know the type. I will give her credit and say she's very moderate with these views, though and not crazy. One of her big beliefs, though, is with holidays. She still celebrates holidays with the family, Christmas, Easter, etc., but likes to keep them minimalist and not embrace the money side of things. We're not monsters though, we still buy our kids stuff for Christmas and for their birthdays, but we've tried to make them know this is now what these days should be about and that generosity, not materials, should be what we think about. Last year in June my wife told me she doesn't want to celebrate Father's Day. Her reasoning was simple, she wanted our children to respect us every day and not make one day a special occasion for celebrating fathers or mothers. I was a little hesitant, but I agreed and we took the day to try to teach them that. Well, now that Mother's Day is coming around she's changing her tune. All of a sudden she wants me and the kids to take her out for breakfast, buy her gifts, and do other things for her. I obviously told her no, that we didn't celebrate Father's Day and this was her idea, to begin with. All of a sudden she got super upset and is claiming I'm the idiot here. She's now saying we should celebrate both days and that it's unfair to her that we aren't celebrating Mother's Day. We fought about this last night and she's still mad about it. Am I being unfair here? Not the idiot. She's trying to win the argument by getting mad, even though you should be the one that's upset. It's a tough situation because you don't want to stain Father's and Mother's Day like this for the rest of your lives. I would compromise and say that you'll do something small like going out for lunch, but no gifts and favors. That way it's not super unfair to you that she gets her own day after taking yours, and then next year you can both do all the gifts and favors or do Parents' Day to make up for your missed Father's Day. Not the idiot. Your wife is being unfair and insensitive to your feelings and point of view. Ask her honestly, is she even considering your point of view? Ask her to take a minute and consider the situation if the roles were reversed, because after you did her the favor of not celebrating Father's Day, she can do you this small favor. It sounds like right now she's only focused on what she wants and isn't calm enough to think rationally. Compromise is always the best solution in my personal opinion, and I think the best and great compromise would be to celebrate both of you as parents this day. Not the idiot. She doesn't have a leg to stand on in this argument. However, I'm a really big believer in not doing things out of spite to make a point like canceling a day for her. If you did, that she'd be upset, and you're still going to continue to be upset, and no one has gotten anywhere or accomplished anything. How about this instead? Tell her if she wants a Mother's Day, that Father's Day won't ever be disputed again. Also, she owes you double this year to make up for canceling last year. That way she gets her day and you get a doubly awesome Father's Day.